missing values, what are the missing values, how to treat them within the dataset. So first what we need to do is to check whether we have the missing values or not. Auto is our dataset, the function is null, is returning us the true and false binary values, whether it's a missing value or not, and sum is going to sum for each column how many missing values do we have. So it's returning us all the columns and the sum of the summation of the missing values for each column. We see that in the horsepower we have 5 missing values. In this video we're gonna cover the topic of the interpolation. So that's why we are not gonna go to the details of different methods, dropping, filling in and medium interpolation and so on. That's why we are gonna directly go to the method of interpolation. To do so, what we need to do is the correlation matrix. Correlation matrix. We will have, by the way, the separate topic about the correlation and correlation matrix. So that's why in this video we are gonna briefly see the correlation matrix, and in the next videos we are gonna see in details what is the correlation matrix. If you want to know beforehand what's the correlation matrix, you can basically go to the next video, see about the correlation matrix, and come back to this video. It's not the problem, because one video is not basically like this video is not related to other videos, so that's why you can do that too. So if you want to see the columns, we'll check the columns, and instead of writing every single column, we're gonna just copy and paste all the columns here, and then at the end we're gonna write core as our correlation matrix. We have now correlation matrix. So it's the pairwise relation between the variables, and it's not that clear, so that's why we want to write the code of the SNS. It stands for the Seaborn. It's the data visualization tool. So we're gonna write correlation matrix. Annotations, we won't have annotations, yes. True. CMap is gonna be cool warm. So I wanna have with the warm, it's gonna be the positive correlation, and cool colors are gonna be the negative correlation. Correlation matrix. Why we are doing the correlation matrix? The reason is simple. When we are creating the correlation matrix and visualizing them, we can see whether we can correlate something, is there's something correlated with our missing values, and can we find the decent substitution for the missing values. So horsepower, there is a quite good correlation between cylinder number 84, but it's even better, it's gonna be the displacement and the horsepower. Basically, I went to see in the ChatGPT whether there is a correlation actually. I mean, from the technical point of view, from the domain knowledge point of view, is there any correlation between these two? Actually, yes, there is a correlation between these two. So that's why we are going to forward with this one. I'm going to teach you how to do the with a single column, with a single variable, how to do the univariate correlation. To do so, we will need this library. By the way, before going to create the correlation matrix and visualizing them, you need to import Seaborn and Matplotlib, PyPlot libraries. If you don't have, you know how to download them. Just install them, but just by writing pip install and the name of the library, you're gonna install them both. Here in second case, it's enough to write only the Matplotlib. You don't have to write the PyPlot. So you're gonna install them by clicking them. And for the interpolation, we need this library. For interpolation, we need this package from the SciPy. It's a package of the Python. So interpolate, we need interp1d, one-dimensional interpolation. We are running this, and then what we're gonna do, we're gonna take actually the displacement, it's gonna be our x values. So we're just writing missing displacement equal to auto log auto horsepower. Okay, then is null is gonna give us the index of the missing values, and we are taking displacement for that row. Just for checking whether we have the correct values. So we have the Ford Pinto, which has the missing value for the horsepower, it's 98. Then we have Ford, Renault, Ford, and Renault. Then we want to get the rest of the data set, the rest other rows that are within that that are corresponding to the index where the missing values are placed. So we are filtering the data set, all data set, and we are saying to the data set that wherever you see the auto horsepower is null, just take me all the data set from for that one. So if you want to check that, you see the horsepower is missing for those that were here, and this is the rest of the data set. Then what we would love to do, of course, for running the regressive analysis, for running the regressive model, interpolation model, we need to drop the NA values because it can confuse our dataset. That's why we are going to drop the NAs. And later we need to create y value is going to be our interest value, for which we want to get the to find the value, to find the real value, and the x is going to be our value that is helping to us to get the value for the y. So in our case, it's going to be y is going to be auto. Y is going to be auto. Horse power, and x is going to be again auto and displacement. Perfect. I just misspelled that. Next we want to have the actual model, the numbers, interpolation function is equal to inter p1d x y. Kind of the interpolation is linear. Y values for the interpolated values. So we have taken already the missing displacement. So as a x values, we are gonna feed our model with the for this. Now here we are kind of training our data, right? We'll see later about the training and testing. So here we are training, fitting our data, and here we are gonna we're kind of gonna predict the new y values. So in that case we are gonna write the function that we have written before, and it's gonna be missing this displacement. Now technically we need to have 5 values for the interpolated y. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now we want to fill the missing values with these 5 values. So what we're gonna do here, we are gonna use the missing values, missing data. Do you remember we had the missing data in which we had the indexes where the horsepower is missing and the other values are present? So for this value we're gonna substitute this column with the array that we found here. It's important not to mistakenly misspell the word, the name of the column, because otherwise you might create the column instead of changing the values of the column. Interpolated y. let's check our dataset again. Here's it, horsepower. We have the horsepower. And now, the last but not least, we need to concatenate our dataset with the original data. So the auto is original data that we have dropped before the missing data. So now we are connecting back these two data sets and to have the in the whole data set that we had before. So we're gonna have the auto data without the null values, the rows with the null values, plus the new missing data that we have created now. So to check whether now we have the null values or not, we are repeating the same, these null and sum functions. And now we see that there are not missing values for our dataset. We're good to go.